Hi everybody, Tom Ball from Sun Racing, back with our final preview of Glorious Goodwood, which features the final day. Plenty of exciting handicaps and some decent group contests as well. I'm delighted to be joined by Chad Yeomans of Betway and the Sun's flagship tipster, Tips, aka Steve Mullen. Right, let's start with the first race on Saturday, lads. The Unibet Stewards Sprint Handicap, the consolation race, obviously, for the main event, the Stewards Cup. I should say this right, Rewayat, I think I've got that right. Another horse in those blue and white silks of Hamdan Al Maktoum heads the market here. Won very impressively last time out at Salisbury. A few others in here may remain secret in the park. The Lamplighter down the bottom. Tommy G as bottom weight. Steve, you've been a big fan of those blue and white silks this week. Are you going to be siding with them again, or do you fancy something else?
Not in this race, mainly down to the price. I think it's just a bit short, really. It's a very good win at Salisbury last time, Rewayat. But obviously this is stronger opposition. I just think if you look at Tommy G's record in this race, I mean, any bet in this has got, you need a bit of luck, and it's a bit speculative and, the nature of the race. But I mean, a win in 2 places from 3 goals, and he sneaks in off bottom weight, £6 lower than last year. SDS on board, who's pretty good on sprinters. I just think he'll give us a good run, and I would expect him to add to his placed record. I mean, you've got plenty of others in there. I thought May Remain ran really well last time as well, and he's likes Goodwood. But I just think Tommy G, when you look at his records, I know he's knocking on a bit now, and it's hard to keep coming back and doing it, but I just think he'll be thereabouts again, and he's a fair price.
Excellent. I'm going to quickly butt in, actually, Chad, because I totally agree with that. He's my big fancy. I actually backed him a couple of years ago when he won the race. He's dropped to a really good mark now, and he obviously gets in right at the bottom of the weights. And I thought it was a nice effort last time when he finished behind Prompting, who, of course, is favourite for the Unibet Golden Mile this afternoon on Friday at the time of recording. We don't get to see how well he gets on, but Tommy Gunn's got to have a massive chance in this, a track he obviously loves down the bottom of the weights. Chad, who do you fancy in this?
It's a massively wide open race, and I think on the face it's fair to say, no disrespect to any of the runners, but it's quite a poor race, isn't it, really? If you think of as a consolation race for the Stewards Cup, which has got potential few group horses lurking, where these horses probably wouldn't finish a group race. I've gone for North Wind for David Barron. He's good at training sprinters. This horse was once as a 2-year-old with Aidan O'Brien, and actually when he won his maiden, earned himself a mark of 94 and beat a horse who's finished 3rd called Pastavino, who's actually quite a decent sprinter at a certain level, I'd say class 2 level, class 1, class 2 level in this country now. Clearly not been easy to train, but he does want real quick ground. And with the weather we've had and having and going to have, he's going to get rattling fast ground. He's going to be played late. I don't quite know where the draw's going to be. Do you want to be drawn low? Do you want to be drawn high? It's drawn 2, so I think it's okay. Previous winners have suggested you can be drawn here, there, and everywhere. But I think this horse is still unexposed. So for that reason, North Wind is my selection.
Lovely stuff. North Wind for Chad there. That's the first race done, and that's in a very, very competitive handicap, as it always is. And another one that is very competitive is the 225, the Unibet Summer Handicap, over 1 mile, 6 furlongs. The usual Mark Johnston battalion are in this, King's Advice and the Max We Can. Also Hockfeld for him too. The heading the market is Laffy, who's really returned with a bit of panache this season, I think it's fair to say, with a win in a second last time. And then Calling the Wind, who of course got up in the nick of time on the post on his most recent outing as well. Chad, let's start with you this time. Who do you like in this?
I like the Max We Can. I think we'll go from the front. And we've seen Mark Johnson horses can go from the front, do go from the front. And are quite hard to pass. And also Shailene, trained by Betway Ambassador Andrew Balding. She was 3rd in the race last year. She wants quick ground, and she'll get this. Everything seems to be in her favour, optimum conditions. So I just think she's placed at listed level. She's probably better than some of these, just on natural ability. So the 2 of them are good each way bets for me.
Great stuff. And Templegate, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, since he was gelded between seasons, Laffy seems a different horse now. Last 2 runs been really good. The one at Newbury, that was a good win. And then the Old Newton Cup last time, where it was very boggy, very sticky, and he travelled really well. I mean, obviously the ground's going to be a lot quicker here, but I don't think that'll be an issue. I think he'll run well, not a huge price, I'm afraid, but I think he'll go close. And the Max We Can I've got on the short list, and of course King's Advice won this last year and could bounce back from a couple of dodgy runs, but I think Laffy looks like there's more to come from him.
Indeed, well, hopefully we'll both be laughing because I really fancy him as well, and that's 2 out of 2 for both you and I. So hopefully we'll be on the same page tomorrow with a few winners. I think Laffy's got a really big chance. That was a good second last time out. Yeah, as you say, I think he got a little bit bogged down in that ground. Back on good ground where he showed that such improvement at Newbury on a seasonal return. But Sir Michael Stout, who, as we all know, is so good with his improving 4-year-olds, I don't think 101 is going to be too high a mark for him. And I think this doesn't look particularly strong race, and he's the kind of obvious improver, isn't he? So he'd be my pick in the 225. On now to the 3 o'clock. Only 4 runners feature in the Lily Langtry Stakes, Group 2 of a mile and 3/4. Manuela de Vega, NBH, Cabaletta and Snow. Templegate, which filly are you coming down on?
Yeah, it's a bit of an old cliche that you could see any of them winning it. But I mean, if you look at the level of performance from NBH generally, I know, again, not a great price, but won this race last year, won on another trip to Goodwood as well. Looked very rusty to me last time. I thought that was a decent run, and over the different trip as well. Going back over to her best distance now, I think she should win in the small field. I mean, obviously Manuela de Vega is progressive, and see how she gets on in the better ground after winning in the mud at Haydock last time. Didn't run that well on her last run at Goodwood, but I mean, hasn't been there that much. And then Snow could take a step forward as well, but I think on what we've seen and the way, you know, she shaped last time when obviously needing the run, I think NBH will be hard to beat.
NBH, of course, for John Cosden and Jim Crowley. Chad, are you in agreement?
I absolutely echo everything Steve just said. I just think that the level that NBH has been performing at, and the fact that it was soft ground that got beat last time when she went off favourite at Falmouth. I think back favoured, quick conditions, run under her belt. She was still improving at the back end of last year, and I saw nothing in that defeat which told me she'd regress. And you could look at almost say even money as a good value, really.
Yeah, I'm sure you absolutely could. I mean, I'm going to go on a limb a little bit and say Cabaletta, just because Roger Varian won this race with Pilastra a couple of years ago in those same colours, and over this trip she really improved for that. And I think Cabaletta will probably do the same. She's the most unexposed, having had just 4 starts. I know she's outside of the field, but I don't think she should be that big a price. She's got a bit to find on ratings, but obviously she's very unexposed and could easily do that, particularly trained by such a master over this longer trip. So she'd be my pick in the Lily Langtry. On now to the feature of the day, which is the Unibet Stewards Cup. Always a minefield. It's great to see Hay Jonesy back after that win in the Wokingham. Summerhand too, finished second that day. Towards the head of the mark, we've got Miras for Mark Johnston, a really improving sort. Also, Lexington Dash is up there as well. And can't discount Nahar, who produced that wonderfully potent turn of foot last time out to win a competitive handicap. Chad, come to you first. Who do you like in this?
I've nailed it down to 3. I think everyone playing in this field should not try and pick 1. You should try and pick 3 or 4, or maybe even more if necessary. The prices allow you to have enhanced places. We're paying 5 places, so you can certainly, you know, get stuck into a few. I thought Nahar, as you mentioned, fully showed a real potency on the foot. There's certainly some that's clicked this season. He's improving, and often you need a horse that's improving in this race. We saw it last year with Cardem. I like Kimmy 5, fast ground Goodwood winner. Everything seems to be in his favour. He seems to be pretty unlucky this season, as a lot of sprinters who run in these big field sprint handicaps can be. Drawn 1, I don't know if that's good, bad or indifferent. We'll find out tomorrow. And also Swindler. He ran really well. He's a bit of an eye-catcher at Newmarket earlier in the season, and refused to go in the stalls for the Wokingham. But he was well backed for the Wokingham, and I just think fast ground, everything's in his conditions. He missed the July meeting to come here, and he could just sneak into a place. So there'd be my 3: Nahar, Kimmy 5, and Swindler.
Great stuff. 3 against the field. Swindler, of course, going in those famous Stradivarius colours of Bjorn Nilsson. Templegate, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, the draw is going to be vitally important in this. Having a look, I mean, 7 of the past 8 winners were either in the bottom 4 stalls or the top 4 stalls. So that really helps narrow it down. And looking at the bottom ones, I would go for Miras. I think young sprinter, really progressive, 3 wins out of 4. Only time he got beat, the ground wasn't right, and he didn't get the best of runs. Goes from the front. Joe Fanning on board, top man in sprints. I've said that about 15 jockeys, but I really mean it with him. He knows what he's doing, and I think he'll give us a good run. And on the other side, he's just outside the top 4. I think he's 5th from the end, but like Chad was saying, the old rogue Swindler. Got so much talent. I mean, it must have been so infuriating when he wouldn't go in at Royal Ascot. I really fancied him that day myself. I think if he goes in, he'll come out really quickly, and they're my two against the field: Mayros on the low and Swindler on the high.
Lovely stuff. Swindler for both Chad and Templegate there. I think Nahar could be the proverbial horse masquerading in a handicap as a group horse, so I think he's got a massive chance. I was really taken by that win last time out. But he's too short a price for me, so I'm going to go with Louis de Palma, a much bigger price, around about the 25-1 mark. He produced a really nice performance in that silver working on his return behind Chief of Chiefs, and actually went off favourite for a pretty hot handicap at Windsor last time, but missed the break a little bit and could never really get into it. And Clive Cox has already had a win this week, and obviously does so well with his sprinters, and this one's got a really high draw, so hopefully the draw will be kind to him. It's 126, so he's in one of the top 4 stalls, as you were alluding to earlier, Steve. So hopefully Louis de Palma can do it for me at a big price. Great, on to the 410, the final race we're going to be covering this week in our Glorious Goodwood preview. It's the Qatar Handicap, a pretty hot race to finish with. Only £10 separates the 9 runners here. We've got Cold Front, Mr. Snowden and Society Lion heading the market. King Ragnar won well last time at Leicester, and Manigordo and Tom Frey. Fleeting Prince, Homespin and Corvair. Templegate will finish with you, or start the finish with you. Who do you fancy in this?
Yeah, I mean, these 3-year-old handicaps quite tricky, aren't they? They're all improving so much, and I think there'll be something that improves again in this. I mean, I think it could well be Society Lion. Thought that was a much improved effort at Doncaster last time, went second, travelled really well, just didn't quite work out in the end, only beaten in a photo, only his 4th run. It's gone up £5 for that, but I think that's fair enough. You'd expect him, he's on a mark of 91 now, and you'd hope he'd be capable of hitting 3 figures before too long. And then, yeah, Cold Front, again, this isn't the easiest handicap debut, but it was a good win at Haydock, and I don't think the handicap has gone crazy. But I think Society Lion may just be the one with the most scope to improve.
Great stuff. Well, I'm going to go with Cold Front, actually. I think that was an impressive maiden win. I know it was an easy race compared to this one, but 91 might not be too tough a mark. I think this one's got plenty of improvement for William Haggis. Chad, who's your pick in the final race?
2 each-way bets, actually really good each-way bets. Tom Frey for Rafe Beckett and Harry Bentley in the saddle. This horse was really progressive. He ran a good race. He's really well backed in the Bunbury Cup. Just didn't get a bit of a hard look story, but ran on through the line. I do think back against his own age group, he'll have a cracking chance in this. And the outside of the field, Homespin, winner of the nursery at Glorious Goodwood last year from the front. His 2nd run after a gelding, and that usually does help horses come to terms. Usually the 1st run, it's still a bit of a shock that they're not there anymore. 2nd run, they've come to terms and they usually do perform a little bit better. There's been a little bit of each way support from him over the last 24 hours. I can see him going from the front and playing catch me if you can, or go past me if you can. And hopefully they won't or can't at the prices.
Definitely. Gents, thank you so much. Really enjoyed it this week. It's been great fun. And we've had a few winners along the way, haven't we? And some nice prices in each way spots too. So it's been great, really successful as well. And yeah, hugely enjoyable. So thank you very much. And all of you at home, we'll see you all very soon. And best of luck to you all with your best bets on the final day. Bye-bye.
Love it.